How you doing? David back in the shop with some tricks. Today we're going to talk a little bit about screws and, well, screwing or actually drilling. A couple little tips. This isn't a huge tip, but at the same time it's something that may help you out down the road. Let's take a look down at the board here. Now, there are different types of screws that everybody uses. Most people have a particular type that they like to use all the time. There are sheet metal screws, which aren't necessarily woodworking screws, but they're so common that they get used all the time. These are number 8 screws. There are also wood screws, such as this, which work great. And then, of course, everybody ends up doing a little bit of drywall screws on occasion. So you can use what works. There's no real bad thing. Well, there are reasons to use them, but that's not why we're here today. What we want to talk about is how to drill straight. For a number 8 screw, there's 2 different types of holes that you could make, and one would be for a clearance hole, basically so that the screw will go through the hole without pretty much catching the wood on the interior. And for a number 8 screw, the bit that you want to use for that is a 3/16 bit, so that it's a little wider than the shaft and the threads, okay? Now, a pilot drill, a pilot hole, is a smaller bit that basically is the diameter of just the shaft of the screw without the threads. So when the hole is made, you want the threads to catch into the side of the hole. And in this case, for a number 8 screw, that's a 7/64 screw bit. So we've got these 2 bits that are commonly used for number 8 screws. Now what we want to do is set up a little block like this that's going to allow you to drill straight more often than not than just guessing. So let's work with the 3/16 clearance, all right? Now, most of us have learned a few tricks over the years about how to guide a drill bit so that you're basically drilling straight. One of them that I like to tell people is to point, use your finger. If you grab the drill and you point like this, essentially, we're all pretty good at pointing. We know where we're pointing. So if you're using it this way to locate where you're going, you can get a sense of it. That works pretty well. That's not foolproof at all. Another way is to use squares. Put it up next to the bit. Yep, I'm square this way, but you got to look at it this way too. So you need to do 2 different variations. And if you got a bunch of holes to drill in the middle of a piece, you either have a real good sense of it or you need some kind of a guide. So what we've got is a guide block. Now you can drill holes with a drill press, but that doesn't always work for where you need to locate them. You may have a piece that's too big for a drill press, and that's where this little guy comes in handy. The idea is you've got a block with a hole cut in it, and the bit that you've got will go down through it deep enough, and it's got a cutout so you can actually see where you're drilling in case you've got a mark you're trying to match. But you need it to be able to have the bit go as deep as you want into the next piece. So if you're going through a 3/4 inch piece, you need to make sure that your bit is extending 3/4 of an inch or a little more past the bottom of the block. That's the idea. And this strip here, although it's a little thinner than I'd like to guide well, will keep you straight. Now how does that work? What you do is you take your bit out, you go over to the drill press, chuck this into the drill press, and you make your holes in your block with the drill press so you've got it dead on square. Now you could, honestly, for a number 8 screw, let's say you put 2 of them in here, then you've got your clearance hole and your pilot bit at the same time. So you've got a 2 for block that works great. You will find out that not all screws work for every block. This isn't going to work. It's not deep enough. Your screw is not going to go far enough. If you've got bigger screws, you want to make bigger blocks. So you make a couple of them like this and you're in good shape. So with our pre-holes drilled in the block from the drill press, we know that they're nice and straight. We can put it in there and that's going to be square both directions, and that's cool. All we have to do is chuck it in our drill, lock it down, and I'm going to recommend when you go to make your hole, put the bit through first. Don't spin it in because that's just going to widen your hole. So once you're there, you're in, find where you want your hole to be, hold your block flat, make your hole, and you're done. Take your square hole wherever you want to go. It's a great drill guide.